Welcome back to Decade by Decade. This decade, we'll be looking at the 1990s. Now, as the 90s draw to a close, it appears they've taken a music movement with it, grunge. Now, grunge produced many great songs, and with those great songs came some great bands. So now let's look back at all the great grunge bands of the 1990s. Nirvana were probably the most well-known grunge band. They were huge. Their album Nevermind sold more than 30 million copies worldwide, and their hit song, Smells Like Teen Spirit, broke the top 10 in the Billboard Hottest 100 chart, and their frontman, Kurt Cobain's net worth, reached the 100 million mark, even though he's dead. And then there's Alice in Chains. Their debut album, Dirt, has sold more than 3 million copies worldwide. But that's not their best-selling album. Their best-selling album was released in 1992. It made number 6 in the Billboard Top 200 and went certified quadruple platinum, making it the band's bestseller. And of course, we can't forget about Pearl Jam. Eddie Vedder probably has one of the most distinctive voices in rock music. Their debut album 10 sold more than 1 million copies in its first week and has gone on to sell 13 million copies worldwide. Let's not forget that Eddie Vedder is actually the only grunge frontman of the Big Four to still be alive. And last but not least, we have Soundgarden. Their song Black Hole Sun is one of the anthems of the 90s, and they released one of their earliest grunge albums, Ultra Mega OK, in 1988. Soundgarden have gone on to sell around 25 million records worldwide. And now we go live to Kyle Chapin, a big-time 90s grunge fan and also lead guitarist for the band Angry Youth. So Kyle, what kind of started grunge, I guess?
Well, it marketed anger and depression to an unstable youth and brought socially conscious issues into music which weren't present at all beforehand.
Right. And what effect do you think that grunge had on music in general?
Well, I know it inspired a lot of different music genres. It inspired emo, post-grunge, and it even inspired a bit of nu metal.
Why do you think grunge became so popular?
Other genres had become too excessive, and people were ready for a less poodle rock, more gritty, down-to-earth, reality kind of music. Like, for example, they fell off cloud 9 and came back down to the harsh reality of Earth.
So, Kyle, why did you like grunge so much? What appeal did it have to you?
Genres like glam rock and hair metal, they were really popular, but they were just really excessive. And I think that's where the quote, grunge was the death of hair metal, comes from. And even a quote from Kurt Cobain, he said, punk rock came along, it expressed how I felt socially, it expressed how I felt politically, and it was just everything to me.
What was grunge like after the death of Kurt Cobain?
Well, some say that grunge did die with Kurt Cobain, and they're not wrong. Grunge actually saw a rapid decrease after 1994, but with the rise of radio-friendly post-grunge acts like Creed, grunge was pretty much doomed anyway.
Now, why do you think grunge was created? Who do you think created it, and what was the reason they had for creating it?
Grunge was created by the social conditions and expectations of the 90s. Male grunge artists were anti-oppressionists, and they were often supporters of feminism. And female grunge artists, they were cool, they were independent, and they completely shattered the little girl pop singer stereotype of the 90s. Grunge was mistakenly to be self-absorbed, when in fact most of the topics and issues it addressed were way beyond the singer/band. Grunge bands were non-conformist and underground, and that's the kind of appeal that grunge had to me, were beyond the system.
Why did people feel like grunge was male-dominated and that females were not getting enough credit?
Well, yes, I think it was a big problem. There were a lot of amazing all-female grunge bands like Babes in Toyland, 7 Year Bitch, L7, and even Courtney Love from Hole. These bands are often discredited, even though some of these bands have been around for as long or longer than some of the most influential grunge groups. For example, L7's first album was released in 1987. That's before every single band in the Big Four, which are credited with being the most influential grunge bands of all time.
Thanks for watching this episode of Decade by Decade. And everyone give a big round of applause to Kyle Shappen.
Cheers, bro.
Taking us out is Jared Muck playing Smells Like Teen Spirit. Jared, take it away!